Hello, custom car enthusiasts, and welcome back to Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. So in this episode, we got a story mission here on a Renault Piccolo. My students are complaining that the clutch is very heavy. Another issue is that we had a little incident recently that ended in a close encounter with a curb at a fairly high rate of speed. After the incident, I noticed something dripping from under the car. I'd like you to go over the car and fix whatever you find so my young drivers are not afraid of getting behind the wheel of this car. Alright, so it sounds like it is a car used for getting your license and such. We're missing the front bumper on it, so we're missing some parts on it. Yeah, we got to replace the left fender and the bumper. And we're going to have to change the oil out there. We got some rubber bushings that are missing already. So, yeah. Let's see. Can I take this to the test track? Garage entrance B. Interesting. Cannot start the engine. So no, we cannot. Alright, so we're just going to have to move it over here and work on it sort of in the dark. That's alright. We can figure this out. So as of recently, I've really enjoyed getting into more of these simulator games. It's been a lot of fun. Having a good time with them. So this one was sort of one of my first on the channel. I'm now doing Supermarket Simulator, which is going to be coming to the channel here shortly. And I'm also doing Factory Outlet Simulator that's actually had its first episode come out a few days ago now. So I'm really enjoying them. I'm hoping you're enjoying watching them because they're sort of just a nice, relaxing game to play. They don't have the stress of a lot of games. Instead, I can sort of learn about different types of jobs like being a car mechanic and such. And at the same time, I can enjoy talking with the audience here and not having to worry so much about hitting certain skills or whatnot. All right, so we need a new fuel filter. So that'll be a thing. Fuel pump looks fine. All right, so let's see here. Test the tires as well. Alright, so the tires are bad, so we're going to have to replace those. And then let's see, last test here, electronic meter. Alright, so the starter and the battery are both shot, so we're going to have to pull a lot out of here. Let's go ahead and start with that, because that looked bad. Let's head down here, get the ABS module out. Looks like there's enough probably on this engine that needs to be pulled, so we will go ahead and do that as well. First thing I think we'll do is we'll get the front bumper and left fender here. Whoop, hitting the wrong button. Alright, there we go. So let's go to body parts here. And let's go with Renault. I misspelled that evidently. How do I spell this vehicle? Renault Piccolo. My mistake. Renault. Alright, Renault Piccolo front bumper. Need one of those. And then, let's see. Alright, then we are going to need the left bumper. Left fender. There we go. So we'll go ahead and pick that up. Alright, so now let's go ahead and add the parts on. They're going to be the wrong color, but they will work perfectly fine. Alright, now let's go back towards normal mode. We're going to have to take off all 4 tires we know anyways, so let's see what we got going on underneath here. Alright, brakes are definitely bad. He sort of said they were, so we'll go ahead and replace those. And it looks like we're going to have to replace some pieces in here as well. So let's just keep up with the disassembly. Yeah, that's going to have to come off. So trying not to remove everything if I don't have to. But you know what? It looks like that's just going to be the best way to go about it. Probably not the most financially efficient, but the easiest for me, really, because otherwise I'm going to have to sort of cherry pick which parts I take off and or do one section at a time. By removing everything, I can get everything off. I'll get the bushings for one, and that way ensure that everything is going to be correct on here. Alright, so get these 2 rubber bushings out of here. Some of the parts won't even need any work, like this inner tie rod doesn't look like it's bad at all. But, as I said, there's enough of it that might as well just take it all off. This one is a different part of the brake that's the problem. I mean, this has been a student driver vehicle, so not exactly surprising that it's got the amount of damage and wear and tear that it does. But we'll make it right. That was not what I wanted to take off. It is the one issue in this game sometimes is you are trying to click on one thing and something else is what's targeted. But oh well, not the end of the world. I'll put that back on here in a little bit. Figure we'll start on the suspension this time, then we'll move to the engine. Sort of the reverse of what we normally do. Alright, now let's see here about adding a part, and let's add that catalytic converter back on. There we go. Don't know if the back is as bad. Brakes definitely are, so the brakes need to go. And it looks like, yeah, the shocks are a little bit shot. So again, just easier to take it all off. Do touch-up repairs to the pieces that'll work for that. And then wholesale replacement of everything else. Don't think we actually need to touch the fuel system on the car other than the fuel filter, but we'll get that when we're dealing with the engine there, so I'm not going to worry about the gas tank or whatnot right now. Alright. It's a bit of a different suspension layout to this. That's alright though. Let's head over to the other side here and start on it. Especially being a student driver vehicle, I think it's best that we really strip it down here, make sure that it's good for these student drivers, because they're sort of naive as it is in their driving. Need them to have a safe vehicle to be in. So I think this works out well. Alright, wheel hub can come off. Get this rubber bushing out. A few of those parts are just not wanting to fully come off on that first attempt to remove them. But yeah, as I said, I'm really getting into these simulator games more and more. They're a lot of fun. Experiencing different things in life I might not have done otherwise. I mean, like with this one, I've really learned a lot about cars that I did not know. I knew the names of the parts and stuff, but didn't really have as much of an understanding of how they all came together. And with this game, I've been able to see that a bit more and understand how the car sort of works. And that's a great thing. I love games that teach you a lesson. There we go. And there we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and separate all the wheels. That was installed, there we go. And then we gotta take some shocks over here, if I'm not walking into things. There we go. We'll get those separated. Take that one, separate the next one. Take that one, separate the next one. Alright. It's going to be a big shopping list for this vehicle, I think. But you know what? As I said, it's going to be worth it. We'll have everything all put back together the way it should be. I do like doing suspension and the body parts and the engine all separate. So that way we've got everything going a little bit more organized. Let's go ahead and put them in order by name. Alright, now let's see what we can fix over here. Yeah, I mean, we're saving a lot of these parts, which is going to be a great thing for the customer, because they are going to be improved, but at the same time, it's not costing them for brand new parts. That being said, I'm sure we still have quite a bit we do need to buy. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and step away here and buy the parts that we need. Then we'll jump back in and we'll reassemble the suspension. Alright, let's start reassembling some of these parts. Get that working. Get over here, put these back together. We had to buy 1 new rim and 4 tires, so definitely was a good thing here. They'll be on good rubber now, so that'll be good for them. Looking at the floor there. Alright, take that one off and put this one together. Go ahead and balance that one. Install the next one together. We'll take this. There we go. Alright, I believe that's the last of them. Yep. So now we just got to wait on this one to balance and the next one to balance. Really, we could start assembly of like the back end because we have enough tires for it. And then we'll come get the other two before we start on the front end. So let's go ahead and put the major pieces in place here. All these bushings. Doesn't really matter which one it is, they're all brand new. As I always do with it whenever I take off the bushings on a vehicle, want to replace all of them, make sure that they're going to be good. Because they do wear at different rates, and otherwise it would just be an issue on the vehicle. Don't want that to happen. Bushings are not that expensive of a part, and I'd rather have that safety with it. This one's a bit unique in just the odd ways that the bushings come in and such. So. Alright, now we'll get the spring cap, then the spring. and then the upper cap. Get that on, get the wheel hub bearing in there, the cap, then the brakes, caliper, anytime I think of caliper, I think of a show I used to really love called Making Monsters. It was a show about basically designing Halloween props and such. Fantastic show. You can still sometimes see it on TV. And actually, the people who did the show are in Colorado, so just one state over from me. And each year they have this event called Monster Day, where it's basically a celebration of all things Halloween. So if you're into Halloween, definitely something I recommend for you. But on one of the episodes, one of the people making a prop for them asked for a set of calipers to measure the particular artwork that they were creating, and the person who owns the business brings his cat over, and the designer's all there. That's a calico, and the owner says, "Her name's Kelly. Kelly Purse." Definitely a dad joke of a kind, but you know what? As it's one of those I still remember. Loved the show and loved the sense of humor they had. It was just one of those nice shows, sort of like these type of games are for me, where it's one of those, you don't have any of the drama, you don't have any of the worries. There's nothing really too pressure related going on with the game or the show. It's just you can sit back, relax, and enjoy watching as things are being created or that you're creating yourself. For myself, where I have a job that's a bit on the high stress side quite often, it's nice to just come home and play a game like this where there's not a lot of drama or anything going on with it. That's not to say I don't enjoy games sometimes with first-person shooters and such where you do have a lot going on, but as I said, there is something definitely to be said for this genre of games. And for right now, it's something that I'm very much into, where it's just come home, build something, take something apart, don't have to stress, there's no deadlines or anything of that nature, and it's just really sort of wholesome. So, yeah, at least for the time being, you're going to see a lot more of this type of games on the channel. My thought process on it is I'm going to do one of what I call a builder game at a time. So I've just completed, and it'll be coming onto the channel, the game Honey, I Joined a Cult. So you'll be seeing that here in a little while. But after that, I've now moved back to working on my Planet Coaster gameplay, because I am building at least part of a park that's completely fictional, but I'm basing it on the Warner Brothers property overall. So I'm going to have some movies related to things inside the park and such, really enjoying the creation, but those builder type of games take an enormous amount of time. One of those videos will usually take me, just in gameplay alone, between 5 and 6 hours at the minimum. That's compared to like this, where this game here, I'll probably have spent maybe an hour at most playing it. So yeah, I get a lot more content in these type of games. And on those days where I'm, busy with other things and I don't have an enormous amount of time, these sort of games are nice because you can just get to them and enjoy them and be in and out within an hour if you want to. So my plan for right now is going to do multiple of these type of games. Going to do one video of Car Mechanic Simulator per week. So that way if people want to respond, give comments, feedback, things you would like to see me do in the videos and such, I'm more than willing to listen and try to do the things that you're asking for. But then I'll do some other simulator games just sort of on my own that I'll put on the channel, such as the Supermarket Simulator. At least the initial episodes of that are going to be done on my own, but I may make that sort of like this where I play it once a week, and that way as the supermarket develops you'll be able to participate some in the thoughts you have of what I should do in there. And then I'm doing Factory Outlet Simulator. It came out when I'm recording this. It actually just came out yesterday, and definitely wanting to get through a decent amount of videos for that, so that way I can have it pretty much out on the channel while the game is still new and there's interest in it. And that's what I'm going to try to do is when a new game comes out, I'm going to sort of record that fairly heavily, so that way it'll be on the channel when it's new. And then on games that are a bit older, they've been out for a while, other people have already covered them and such, but I do want to play them still myself. Those I'll do sort of as a once a week type of thing, like I am here with the Car Mechanic Simulator. And that way I can get a bunch of stuff on the channel that you can enjoy. Hopefully it'll be entertaining for you. And at the same time, I'll enjoy what I'm doing. I won't feel too pressured or like I'm really overtaxing myself. Didn't need to lower that yet because we need to take the oil out. Let's move this. Fine, go back to it. There we go. Now let's use it. Get that oil out of this vehicle. And then we'll go ahead and pull that engine out. You know what? I was thinking about it. Since we're under here anyways, let's go ahead and take this muffler. I mean, we're going to be doing the engine, so might as well take the muffler and everything off. That's unfortunate. Did not even think about that. Alright. We're going to have to take some of this back apart, unfortunately, in order to get this engine out, just because of the way it's on here. Got to get the drive axles off. Alright. Let's get that one off. Switch over to the other side. Take this tire back off. Take that drive axle off. Now we can take that front drive shaft off. Alright, so this starter has to come out from the engine bay. Let's drop it down. We'll get that starter off. That'll come out from below. That'll come out from below. Alright. Back up we go. Oh, and I'm going to have to... Do I have to take that off in order to get it out? I think I'm going to have to. But let's see. If I can avoid it, I'm going to, because I really don't feel like having to lower the car again. Let's see, though. I think I'm going to have to here. It's not so much lowering. I have to do that to get the engine out, but I'm going to probably have to take out that, yep, that exhaust section. Which means I need to get this shroud taken off, this exhaust manifold. Alright. Let's go ahead and check the air filter while we're here. I don't think it was a requirement, but since we're already taking apart so much of this, we'll take it open. And now the radiator, I believe, was something I had to look at, so we got that out. There are parts I had already pulled out of the engine bay, but I've left those for right now since I'm having to pull the engine. And then we'll go ahead and put them back when we do everything in the engine bay. Alright, let's get that engine out. Let's go ahead and move this back to where it goes. We'll go here. I always get that confused. There we go. Actually, let's go ahead and rotate the engine. There we go. Start on the bottom. Get this oil pan off. Now, a lot of this doesn't look like it has to be taken apart, but I want to. I mean, I'll just be honest about it. Especially since I can just repair the parts uh, on the bench for the most part, especially when they're in this good a condition. I don't feel like I'm going to have to re-buy many of these parts. And this way I also make sure I'm just not missing something on this car. So that way I won't have to go back and redo any of this. We'll just be able to get it all in one shot here. As I said, not the way that a business should run itself because I'm spending money that I don't need to be. But you know what? I'm having fun doing this, so why is it a bad thing, you know? Alright, that I think is all I can take out of there for right now. Let's rotate that engine. We'll start at the top and work our way down now. Get that ignition coil out. Spark plug. All these ignition coils are bad. But my thing is, as I said, we're going to be replacing some of the parts on here. So why not just do the little bit and make the engine look pretty much brand new? I think it'll look nicer. It'll be fun to do. So why not? Cost me a few bucks. In this game, I'm pretty much at the point where I have enough money that I really don't have to worry about it. And we're almost at $500,000. I could easily buy any car I find in a barn or anything like that, so no real concerns. It's probably a flippant way of doing things, but you know what? As I said, I'm playing the game to enjoy it myself, and this is sort of the way I want to do it. Oh, gotta take that belt off first. Then we'll get these rollers and the pulley. I mean, personally, if this was my own car, you know, if I bought a car just to sort of tinker on and stuff like that, this is the way I would want to do it. I'd want to take the engine completely apart, make sure that everything's good. Here's a perfect example. If I hadn't pulled this apart, I might not have found this cam gear. But by pulling it apart, found that cam gear, it's not good, and instead of having it where I'd have to go back in and redo all of this, I'm just able to take it out on that first shot. Not saying that was intentional or something. I mean, I didn't know that the cam gear was bad. I don't believe any of the tests showed that the cam gear was bad. But I saved myself some hardship by getting it out now. Alright, so we got all those parts apart. Let's head over to the bench here and get as many as we can fixed. Alright. So do we even have a lot that we have to replace? The air filter needs to be replaced, the cam gear, the belt tensioner. Really not a ton. So I shall be right back. I'm going to go buy these parts, then we'll reassemble. Alright, so we got everything purchased that we needed to. Let's go ahead and create the engine. There we go. Had to click in the dead space there in order to see the engine in theory. So let's put the block back on, which we didn't have to replace the block, so that's going to save the customer some money right there. Did need a new flywheel for it, but that's not really our fault. They blew out the flywheel. There we go. All that's taken care of. The new fuel filter. We'll get the power steering pump on here. Alternator. Alright, let's rotate it over. There we go. So let's add in the pistons to the engine. I really do sort of enjoy probably too much, these full engine rebuilds that I do. So it's where the customer is sort of getting some free work done to their car. Probably it is charging them some, so it makes me a bad businessman in a way. But as I said, it is a video game after all. And yes, I'm doing business the best I can by ensuring that I do quality work. But I also want to enjoy the game as I'm playing it. So since I enjoy rebuilding engines like this, I want to go ahead and enjoy it here. Alright, put that oil filter on. Get the oil pan in place. Alright, that's all buttoned up. Now we can rotate the engine and start work on the top of it. Let's get the head put in place. Really not many bolts to hold this head in place. I mean, I guess it is a smaller engine, so I guess it doesn't need that much. But it is sort of surprising that it's only got the 6 bolts to me. Alright. Put in the new spark plugs and ignition coils. We'll just do one at a time. Alright, that's good. Get the cam gears, and actually the second cam gear was worn. It wasn't worn as badly, but it still did, I think, need to be replaced. So we've got 2 new cam gears there, so that way this engine should run well for years to come. First serpentine belt goes into place. Get the roller to hold that in place, the belt tensioner there. Then we'll get the second belt in place. Is this engine pretty much done then? Looks like it. Oh yeah, I didn't get rid of this one idle roller. Alright, so let's go ahead, take the engine off of here. We'll get the hoist back, and we'll put it into place. Then we'll put everything else in around it. There we go. Whoop, wrong button. Let's reinstall that. Then get you out of the way. There we go. That's what I had been wanting to do. Put the battery in place, the brake servo in place. We'll need to lift the car up in order to get the exhaust put in place. Then we'll put in the manifold and such. Alright, so that's good. Let's lift the car up, get that air piece put in. While we're under here, we can do the rest of the exhaust. There we go. Get the gearbox here. And the drive shaft. Then we can put the axles back in and the tires back on. So then we should be done under the car, I think. It'll be a matter of putting the last few pieces in up top. Alright, that's good to go. Let's go ahead and lower it. Get the air filter box put back in place, the new air filter, the cover, and the redone clips. This car is pretty much going to be good as new, which I'm happy about. I mean, you know, as I said, especially when you got student drivers using it, you want to make sure it's nice and safe for them. Oh, I gotta switch to the unmount one in order to take that off so we can put the oil in. There we go. Oh, we got the starter and these parts still to go. Alright, so get the ABS pump put in over here, the module. Starter. And this cover here. And then I think, yep, that's everything we got. Let's check it just to make sure everything's taken care of there, that's taken care of, and that's taken care of. So now we can get it out of our workshop. Car incomplete. There's front license plate missing from the car. Oh, alright. Well, I don't have the front license plate. What is the back license plate? Let's take it off here so I can see it. It is just a standard license plate. Alright. Let's go ahead and put that back on. Nope. Then we'll go in here real fast. We'll go to there. We just need a standard license plate. There we go. Alright, perfect. Now it's completed. Wrong button there. Alright, that one's done with. We also, I believe, did reach a new level with that. No, we did not. We are close, but not quite at a new level yet. So in the next episode, we will once again go ahead and do a basic car in order to get to that next level. For now, though, if you enjoyed what I did in this story mission, please go ahead and click that like button. If you've not already, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, so that you're aware when I release new videos in the future. Thank you, and I hope to see you all again for more Car Mechanic Simulator 2018.